I wanted to make a build update on my tri-stack build. Ooh, a divine, what a deal. I wanted to make an update on my tri-stack Ritualist, as I have made some changes that significantly increase the power of the character. So what I'm going to show you is a standard character, and as you can see from my attributes, they're pretty high, but in League, I'm sure you can get probably all 700 to 800. It's just that Legacy gear pushes me over by quite a bit. But either way, as I will show you, it seems like attribute stacking is back on the menu. So, if people don't know why attribute stacking is good, I will show you some nodes that are very good just specifically because of attributes, and two of them are new for this patch. So the first new one is that evasion is now scaled by intellect from this node, and also you get accuracy rating, which with this node you convert accuracy to attack speed, so basically this node is evasion and attack speed. So that's a new node. This node also gives you life and stun threshold due to dexterity, which is nice, and that is on top of nodes that already existed, like this one where you get attack speed per dexterity. This one I already hovered over, but it is attack speed due to dexterity in a way because it's accuracy. A node that already existed is Jack of all trades, which is an insane node. This node alone gives my build like 30 to 35% damage, which is insane. In addition, you have ailment threshold due to dexterity and damage through intellect. And on top of that, because attributes are so good baseline, since strength gives you life and intellect gives you mana, and since if you have a large mana pool, you can spam your abilities without mana investment, and so that's why I am able to cast or use Lightning Arrow at level 30 and not really go And also, I have 5,000 life without necessarily stacking life on all my pieces. Like, a lot of my pieces don't actually have life or a large amount of life, but I still have 5,000 life. So, basically, stats give you everything, uh, on top of using Hand of Wisdom in action. And yes, in League, you're not going to get as much attack speed because the attack speed is nerfed in League because these are legacy pair, but the attack speed doesn't necessarily matter because I already have so much attack speed that basically what you're looking for, or the more important stat on this, is just the flat damage, which is by far the most important. So that's an overview of why stats is so good. Now I will go through the changes that I made to the build over the past few days. So the biggest one is I got kind of lucky. So here is a ring that I crafted and corrupted that is pretty good. So it is a 6T1 ring with all the mods that I want, and I got a perfect roll of Chaos Resistance. So as you can see by my character sheet, I have 82 Chaos Resistance. When I take the ring off, I have 0. And this is important because attributes is a suffix, and so is Chaos Resistance. So I would have to give up attributes on, for example, like boots and helm to get Chaos Resistance on boots and helm if I chose to do that. But since a single item gives me 82 Chaos Resistance because I am mirroring it with Calandra's Touch and Ingenuity, and because I'm a Ritualist, that's pretty good. In addition to this, I get a lot of evasion from this. So evasion was nerfed as a percentage, but it now allows you to mitigate all hits. So currently I have 60 evasion. When I take off the ring, I have 39. That is in combination with me getting a lot of intellect, because intellect, again, is converted to evasion rating, or evasion percentage, but also this 200 is being mirrored by my Calandra's Touch and then being multiplied by Ingenuity. So me going from 39 to 60 is making me evade like 52, 54% more hits. So being 50% more tanky from a single light item pseudo single light on him, because, again, attributes is buffing that number, but that's pretty good. On top of this, both of my rings are corrupted with a good implicit, and they're both pretty good. So both of them have rarity, and rarity is, again, being multiplied by my ingenuity, and also because I'm a ritualist, and so I have 218% rarity, which is pretty good, as it's I'm pretty sure you get severe diminishing returns once you hit like 100, 150, and then no one's really suggesting over 200. So this 200 number is basically perfect. Like maybe if I got 250, I'd get like 1% more loot, but that's not worth it really. I'd rather just get movement speed rather than to invest more into rarity. But yeah, that's nice. And a vast majority of my rarity is coming from my rings. And also, I got a helmet upgrade, so this gives rarity, and then my boots also give rarity. This is an upgrade because previously I didn't have rarity on this, so that's nice. And also, this is an upgrade because I ended up double corrupting a helmet, and so I could get more resistance in my helmet, and that allowed me to run 3 increased life nodes in my chest. I wish, like, potentially, if this ring was corrupted with all resistance, then I could have all of my chest jewels be 3% life, and I could put something else in my helm outside of the elemental resistance. So that's probably the next biggest upgrade that I could do, is I get a ring with a corrupted all elemental resistance. But yeah, these rings are very expensive to make, and yeah, so maybe I will work through that going forward. But also, outside of having all resistance on my ring, now that they changed boots in this patch to be able to get 3 sockets, then I am also looking to get 3 sockets on my boots. I'll just quickly show you all my gear that I haven't showed you, just so you have a good overview of what I'm running. The gear is pretty good. And again, like I said, there are very few upgrades that I potentially could get. So it's boots with 10% more movement speed, and then a ring, which would probably give me like 300 per or 300 more life or something like that. So yeah, the build is pretty nice. Outside of my gear pieces on the passive tree, I did make one major change, but I will go over what I am running. So again, I am attribute stacking and getting a lot of movement speed. So this build, just baseline, runs at 80 movement speed, and then when I kill a mob and I proc my charm, this goes up to 102%, and then if I gained another level, it would be 105%, which is pretty fast. So I'm investing in attributes and movement speed, mainly. And shock magnitude. So, as you saw by the boss fight, which didn't go perfectly, but it was good enough for the showcase, I am able to shock the boss at 95% shock. And that is due to weapon swap. I'm weapon swapping for these shock magnitudes, these shock magnitude, and these shock magnitude. And since I am pathing this way, previously I was pathing this way, which I was picking up Wildstorm. Now I have a Megalomaniac that picks up Wildstorm, so that I can path this way. And also, I am able to pick up projectile speed and movement speed here, which is nice, because if you hit the target before the target sees you, your clear speed gets even better. And also, my projectile speed is converted to damage here. So that is the one major change that I made to the tree. I covered this in my previous video, but I'll just show you my jewels that I'm running. So I'm running 3 of jewels that kind of look like this. It's quiver effect, movement speed, damage, or attack speed. And then for this one, I have blind. So even though I have 60% chance to evade, blind multiplies that by 20%. So I'm actually 72% chance to evade. And these are some other nodes that I have, like shock magnitude, which again is allowing me to have a 95% shock on targets. It also has movement speed and quiver bonus. And so since I have 3 jewels that have quiver bonus, and I'm picking up quiver bonus here and quiver bonus here, I have 100% quiver bonus, which is multiplying my quiver by 100%. So this is giving me +4 levels and a bunch of other good stats, which is nice. I also am running a Legacy Large Time Lost Diamond, which is giving me a ton of attributes. Which is why in League you won't have a large, so you'll be hitting a lot less nodes, and so that's the main reason why in League you'll probably get 700 to 800 all stats instead of 1,000 to 1,100. In addition, I could get more damage if I allocated these strength pathing nodes into dexterity, because that would give me more attack speed, and since a vast majority of my damage is coming from Jack of all trades, it would give me quite a bit more damage if I went like 100 or 1050 strength, 1050 dex. I could probably increase my damage by 6 to 7% or something like that, but obviously I do not need more damage. And also, if you wanted more damage, just so we're on the topic, you could get this Mark Call. So you could pick up this node, this node, this node. The bosses would be cold, which is 10% damage, and you could have a 100% shock on the target, which is more damage also. And since my Megalomaniac, my second node, is allocating this node, which is increasing the call threshold, these nodes give me like 4% damage each, so 12% for 3 nodes. But again, I don't need more damage, so I don't take it. As for, I'm not like 100% set in stone on the sports that I run, but I currently do not have any of the lineage gems. If I did have the lineage gem that basically reverses the resistance of a mob, I forget what it's called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So since this is a clear speed build or a mapping build, I would put that in Lightning Arrow instead of probably Long Shot. And if I was go to do bossing, then I would put it instead of Lightning Penetration. So that that lineage gem alone probably would double my damage. So instead of killing the T3 breach boss or T4, whatever it's called now, in 2.5 seconds, I could kill it in 1.5 seconds. But again, this isn't a bossing character, and I don't need any more damage. But I am looking to get that lineage gem for a reasonable price, and I will put it in Lightning Arrow, just so that when I run maps that have heavy resistance, that basically everything gets one shot, even though it technically already kind of gets one shot. But at least the rares in the map do survive. But I'll just, I guess, go through some of the supports. So, basically just damage. This one is a little bit different. So, this is giving me 30% less mana cost because of the recovery mechanic, and it's giving me 10% damage. So, I could do 10% more damage if I wanted to, if I got the charge shots too. That's 10% more damage, but when I'm mapping, if I like super hold down my lightning arrow, I can run or I can't really run because I just flask up and I instantly regen all my mana. But if I want to press the flask less, then this one's good enough. And again, I don't need 10% more damage, so that's how I run it. And again, I don't need more damage, so the best clear speed support that I think is pretty good is Ricochet 2. So in open map layouts, when mapping, like everything dies before they even touches my screen, so I don't need any more clear speed for that. But in these very linear maps where it's like you're running down hallways, this Ricochet really helps in clearing mobs around the corner. So that's why I run it. As for Lightning Rod, it's basically just straight damage. Map bosses last a quarter of a second, maybe, with this setup. For Tornado Shot, I'm just making these last long time because when you shoot Lightning Arrow into Tornado Shot, it procs your Lightning Rods in an insane amount. So these are supports that are really good for that. On top of that, I am running Lightning Exposure and Potent Exposure, which reduces their resistance by 12, I think. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could put damage supports in here, or yeah, these nodes are, or these supports are pretty good. As for Stormcaller Arrow, this one's a little bit interesting. So here is just more damage because the more damage you do, the higher chance of shocking that you get. I'm also running Culling Strike, again, because I have 20% Culling threshold on my passive tree, so this is 40% increase culling threshold. But I'm not really shooting storm culling arrows into my targets because, or unless it's at the start of the fight, I just put it in to put it in, kind of. The big one is overcharged, so I'm allowed to run overcharged because of a node that I will show, but this is allowing me to get 95% shock. And since this shock technically reflects on me, I need to be shock immune. So that is why I am running this node. So traveling up, again, I'm just getting good attributes. But since I have a majority green gems, I'm immune to shock, which allows me to run this overcharge magnitude, which is giving me 10% more damage on single target fights. So that's really nice. So basically one node for 10% damage, at least single target. It's pretty good. Again, I'm not a boss herb, so it doesn't necessarily matter, but it is something that you would look forward to in later patches when bosses last more than 2 seconds. And then just increase shock. Even though bosses last 2 seconds, again, these supports are kind of in a future patch when the game isn't so easy. Um, I'm just setting it up for that. And I'm also still running Herald of Thunder. I put in increased damage here just because I have infinite damage, so I just want better clear speed. But then all the other supports are damage. And most people are running row amount. I don't run row amount because I just like blink better. There's a lot of times in maps where blinking over terrain is faster than the row amount, so that's why I choose to run blink. So that was a longer video than I thought, but I hopefully convinced you that attribute stacking is back on the menu, and it should be really, really good if you're looking to min-max a character in this patch, and especially if you are in Standard. So, yep, thanks, peace.